Ashley, 11.5 years after you made your debut for the Ospreys at the Llandarcy Stadium against Leinster, got one game left to go. Kingspan Stadium, Ulster in a Champions Cup playoff on Sunday. It's a big game and it'll be an emotional day for you as well.
Yeah, it's a massive game, and I think from the season we've had, this is our cup final, and we need to push for this so that the Ospreys are still in that main competition next year. And it's been a long time here, and again, the boys, some of them I've played with since I first started playing for the Ospreys, so it's going to be an emotional time. And we're part of professional sport, I think, is saying goodbye to people who mean a lot to you. It's not just work colleagues, you're here every day, and they become more than colleagues. So it's going to be an emotional day, but it's got to come at some point.
When you were a 17-year-old boy when the journey started, I remember writing the press release for you as part of an academy intake that included players like Dan Biggar, Ryan Bevington. It seems a lifetime ago, and I suppose it is, because you were still a juvenile then, and you're 11.5 years on, you're 10.5 years on, you're a grown man, and with well over 150 appearances for the Ospreys behind you.
Yes, it's happened so fast really. When I was sort of 17, and I was quite lucky that in a way the Ospreys had so many international players at that time, and I think every centre who was with the club was with the Welsh squad, so I was quite lucky to get that chance quite early. And like, again, people speak to me now, and I'm still only 28, everyone seems to think I'm in my 30s. I might have had a hard paper round, but it is, when you look back at it, it's been such a memorable time here, and I've made some real great friends on the field and even staff, so it's been a real great time for myself, and I'm thankful to the Ospreys for everything they've done for me.
And you're still the youngest player ever to play in a competitive match for the Ospreys, which, given the fact that the way the Anglo-Welsh Cup has gone these days, and that's still classed as the first class fixture, and some of the young teams who put out in those games, that's still quite an achievement.
Yeah, again, I was quite lucky at that time that there was so many boys in the Welsh squad, but then you look at some of the youngsters coming through now, I can't imagine it being around for too much longer. The likes of you've got Harry Morgan coming through, and some of the academy boys, they're getting bigger every year, so you can see them playing senior rugby a little bit sooner than I did.
I'd imagine, if you look at standard achievements and memories for you in your times in Osprey, the 2012 Pro 12 final in Dublin will be there when you're on. Everyone talks about Shane's tries and Dan Biggar's kicks, but they forget that perhaps one of the things that sparked the recovery was a little touchdown from Mr. Ashley Beck. That's probably the biggest, greatest stand-up moment you've got as an Osprey.
Yeah, again, it was a huge game for us, especially with Leinster after winning the Heineken Cup at the time. They won that, and going into that game we were kind of underdogs, and up until half-time I think everyone guessed we were going to kind of lose that game, but then the calibre of player we had in the squad, and again, my try was a bit of a run-in from Bierman and Ryan Jones doing all the work, so all I had to do was open up and get over the line. But then the team we had then was, you talk about Shane Williams and Dan Biggar, they've been top-end internationals for years, so even just playing alongside people like that, getting a chance to play alongside someone like Jerry Collins, it's just things I never thought I'd have in my career.
You've talked there as a youngster and thrown in some of the big names and the senior players you've been around, but I suppose latterly you've had to take the mantle as one of the senior players in the group. It's a little bit of a different outlook for you.
Yeah, I think for me it got easier because of who I had to look up to sort of coming through, and I was fortunate to have sort of Sonny Parker, who took me under his wing. He helped me all the time. He's watching games with me, sitting down, and even when I was with Aberafon and Sonny was with the Ospreys playing, he'd always make time for me, so I always had that someone who I could look up to, and I sort of fitted into that mould then of helping people younger than me, people coming through, your likes of Owen Watkins. So I think I was prepared quite well by Sonny.
I remember having a conversation with Sonny in one of his final years, and that was something that he was really enjoying and really thriving, was playing that mentor role and helping young players. And he talked about you in Glowing Lights. It's something that certain players fit that role more than others. Perhaps Sonny had the reputation of someone who didn't talk a lot externally, quiet, silent assassin type character, but a great role model, and someone that the way you play the game, the way you deal with your peers and the younger players coming through, you clearly learned a lot from.
Yeah, that's it really. I remember, it's funny, probably going back to last year, the year before, when Owen was coming through, and Owen would always ask me to come and sit down and watch games. You've had Joe Thomas, and then I'm sitting and I'm thinking, well, this was me 10 years ago with Sonny kind of helping me, and it does make you feel good knowing that people can come to you and ask you for help if they need it. And not everyone comes to ask for help because they deem it as a bit of a weakness, but when people do open up and they come to ask you, it does make you feel significant, I suppose.
We've talked about the Pro 12 final. I've talked about some of the players you played with. Any other stand-up moments, any other big memories that you'll take away with you?
Again, some of the memories would just be some of the players I've played with and I've been lucky enough to play with. I wouldn't like to guess how many internationals have come through the Ospreys, and you Philo Tiatia, Marty Holler, Andrew Bishop again. There's players there who you never think you'd play with, and I'd always grown up, I was a ball boy for the Ospreys down when they were in the Knoll, and I'd watched all these players sort of come through, and to play alongside some of them, and not Andrew, because obviously not that old, but even watching Shane Williams play, you never thought you'd have a chance to play on the field with him. And even just training sessions, I remember some of the first training sessions I had where I would have been in the centre with Johnny Spratt, we would have gone up against the first team, and you would have had Gavin Ensign opposite you, Sonny Parker, Shane Williams, Sean Connor, Mark Taylor, and you're going, Jesus, what's... And I was only just studying BTEC in Neath College, so little memories like that. Some of the Champions Cup games we've played over the time. There's just so many memories and so many, I suppose, good people I've met.
We talk about the positives. Any career going to be regrets? Any regrets that you've got from your times in Osprey?
I wouldn't say any regrets. There's probably a couple of moments which I think everyone sort of knows with injury and stuff, and I wish I could have given a little bit more, maybe not had that kind of 2-3 years of injuries, which I could have helped the team a little bit more, or even got more games or whatever it was. But I wouldn't say any regrets. You know, I've loved every moment, and even getting to know people off the field with them injuries. I've got to know, like yourself, Peter, more, the physios, which I suppose you take that for granted a little bit. You think about the players, but some of the management and backroom staff I've got to meet and become real good friends with. There's a lot of special memories which I take from even when I was injured.
I think it's typical Ashley Beck response in that you find the positives in everything.
You try to, Pete. I think of those 3 years, if I didn't find the positives, I could have been a lot worse now.
And you're obviously a rugby thinker as well, and you're cutting your teeth as a young coach, and you work with age grade, you're working with Trabanos, and you're doing an awful lot there. What's going to happen with that when you move on?
Again, with the Ospreys, and obviously saying goodbye, I had to sort of say goodbye to Trabanos as well. It wasn't an easy decision. There were so many things going on before I ended up signing, but it's just, again, Trabanos have been a massive help to me. Like we speak about when I was injured, and you can come in with a big smile on your face and you can sort of blag your way through the day, but then going down Trabanos and just being able to do something and have that old sort of club atmosphere, and for them welcoming me into the team, it did mean a lot to me from my whole time for the 3.5 years, but then 2 years in particular. Some of the people I met down there, from the chairman to the team manager, Neil Jeremiah, there's just so many people I've made real good friends with, who I never really thought I'd meet anyone in Trabanos, play for Skewin until I was 12, and then up in Tom Mawr until I sort of signed for the Ospreys. I never thought I'd meet people in Trabanos and become so close, but that became like my family club, and I've loved my 3.5 years and what they've done for me as a person and as a player to help me think better. Maybe
a few years' time, you'll be back playing for the Ospreys in midfield and taking up the mantle at Trabanos once again.
Yeah, that's something I wouldn't like to write out. I think everyone here knows I'm very close to my family, and my partner is exactly the same. So between the pair of us, it is something we probably want to come back at some point. But again, I'm going to go up there and give it my best shot for 2 years, and hopefully I can create some good memories in Worcester and be leaving on a good note when eventually that happens.
Before you go, we've got a very big game this weekend. Ulster, as we said, Kingspan Stadium, Champions Cup qualification up for grabs. With the season that we've had, as you touched on right at the start, to be able to qualify the Champions Cup, we've got something tangible from the season, and it'll allow you to end on a high note on a personal and professional level as well.
Yeah, again, when I first sort of signed for Worcester, the first thing I said is I wanted the Ospreys to finish as high as we can and try and get into them Champions Cup spots, and I think that's where the Ospreys deserve to be. I think we've always kind of been in there, I think it was 1 or 2 years maybe we fell out of it, and this year I think the squad we've got, they should be looking at the Champions Cup, and you know, you're going over there with the likes of Alan Wynne-Jones, Bradley Davis, Justin Tipuric, Dan Bigger. You've got them players who, should them players be in that kind of competition, especially with qualification. So it's something we're aiming for, and like I said, it is like our cup final, so we've got to go out there with the right attitude of we're going to win. And I think results and performances for the last 2-3 months probably show we're in a good place to go out there and really test this Ulster team.
How much can people read into the last time that we were in Kingspan Stadium only a few weeks back? One of the tightest games we've ever seen, 3-0 with 80 minutes on the clock. I see as we push to try and get that last gasp score, and a loose ball halfway, they've gone and scored the only try of the game, 8-0. Fantastic defensive performance from the Ospreys, perhaps not much of an edge up front as an attacking force, but what can you read from that game, and perhaps the fact that we defended so well, do we take more out of that game than Ulster would have?
I think Ulster's coaches are probably looking through that game and seeing where they can probably attack us on missed opportunities, same as, you know, the coaching staff here have looked through the game and where we've missed opportunities or where we can get better. Again, on the day it's different. I think out there last time in Ulster was a lovely day. I'm not too sure of the weather this weekend, so it can all play massive parts, and you know, rugby's all about one mistake sometimes, and if that one mistake comes earlier on in the game, does the game open up more? So I think you can read into it a little bit too much, and it's more of a clean slate for us going over there, I think, to try and win this game and like knockout rugby, I suppose. So everyone is kind of excited. You can feel there's a good sort of buzz in the team, and you know, it's the best way for a lot of us to say goodbye is by winning this game and helping the Ospreys as much as we can.
And whatever happens, Sunday evening, a moment of reflection, emotional evening, and a chance for you to say, I give everything for my home region.
Yeah, again, I'd like to kind of say that by the performance and not get up and say it to anyone, because if I start getting up to talk to people, there could be a tear or two coming down my face, and I don't want to finish on that note because I get enough stick as it is. So hopefully my performance will be good enough that people say that he's given his all, and I'll get remembered in a good light.
Ashley Beck, thank you very much.
Cheers, Pete, thanks.